Hey, what's up everyone? Today we're looking at the Jakks specific Giant Mecha Sonic versus Sonic playset. So this is a release, I don't know, it's just a random item to me because I would have expected this a lot earlier in the Sonic line. And I think this is Mecha Sonic's 4th figure they did so far. So yeah, it's it's exactly what it is. It's a giant Mecha Sonic with a 2.5-inch re-release Sonic figure. But you can see the packaging does have a huge open window here. You can see the giant Mecha Sonic here, the 2.5-inch Sonic figure right there. We get an artwork of Classic Sonic, the logo here. We do get our warning label here at the bottom. Here is the top of the packaging. We get the logo and then the window does continue from the front. There's the bottom right there. Here's this side. We get the logo at the top and then images of the figures right there. And then here's the other side. It shows you the functions right there. And then here's the back. So it has 16 points of articulation. So more points than the 4-inch figure. I think the 4-inch figure had like 11 points of articulation. Okay, so here's the figures out of the packaging right here. We'll start off with the comparison since I already got the 2.5-inch Sonic figure right here. So I'll just use a 4-inch Classic Sonic figure this time. If you want to see how it scales with just like, standard Classic Sonic figure right here. We got the 2.5-inch one right here. And then here's the 4-inch one. That was from Wave 5. And then we also got the Jakks Gold Mecha Sonic figure. I'll actually move these a little bit here to the side. But yeah, these were the Mecha Sonic figures we've gotten really. In terms of like how they look, this one's, there's not really much of a huge difference. This is like a giant version of these figures, but it does have like added articulation. I will say the silver on this figure, it's a bit flat though. It doesn't really have much of like a shiny like aesthetic to it with the silver plastic really. It's not like as metallic as like these look really, and you can kind of see it a bit more here, like with the 4-inch one and the 2.5-inch one too. And then one more because I have him out. But here it is, if it's just a 4-inch Robotnik figure. So yeah, there's that. Now let's get into the Mecha Sonic figure. So like I mentioned, it's a giant Mecha Sonic with added articulation. It still has a really good sculpt. I never really had an issue with the sculpt of the Mecha Sonic figures. I think he was just like too short really. Especially when you put him next to the 4-inch Classic Sonic figures. So hopefully when we compare this to maybe like the collector's edition Classic Sonic figure, that should probably be good. So I want to get into the functions before I dive into the articulation and do some more comparisons. So there's pretty much 2 functions that it has. It's the light up function I showed at the beginning, and then we have this going on with the feet right here. So you can see we got these 2 buttons up here. It actually has wheels at the bottom, so these actually act as wheels, and then we got the wheels here. This just placed the wheels a bit lower. There's not really much of a difference really. Like these wheels barely come out, and this I feel like doesn't really move as much. Like it moves when I do this, but that just goes back in place. But it doesn't, you can tell like it doesn't really do much though. The wheels doesn't really do a lot. It slides. It definitely slides, but these wheels, they barely come out like that. But when I hold it down, like you can definitely see the difference, but once you press it, that's about it though. So yeah, that's the function right there. And then it lights up as I showed, but I only showed the eye because the right here, so the jetpack right here actually lights up because that's where the battery compartment is, and the batteries are included. It's like those coin batteries, so you're not like inserting anything in. It's already there. So there's that. But it does have 2 options here. So you're pressing the middle spike right here. If you press it once, it will like light up. It'll just stay like that for like a little bit. But if you press it twice, I think it kind of goes in and out. Like it gets brighter, but then it fades a bit. So I'll press it once, and then it does light. As you can see, I got all the studio lights, so it's, the lights, you're not going to see it as much, but it lights there, and then like the jetpack, You can see this one isn't as light though, or as bright as the eye though, but it does light up, and I'm gonna wait until it turns off so I can show the other one. But yeah, it's gonna light for like a little bit, and then at some point it will turn off, like you know, right there. So then if you press it twice, you see how the light kind of goes in and out a little bit. I'll zoom in so you can see. Yeah, it just goes in and out for a bit. And I'll show it in the dark too, so you can get a good idea of that. And it also does that for the jetpack too on the back. It just kind of goes in and out. It's very subtle, but you'll notice it really. Now getting into the articulation, so starting at the head's going to be very limited. There's not a whole lot you're going to do, like just slight movement, but you know, again, this is more of like a gimmick toy, so there are going to be like limitations there. But you know, if you want them to look side to side, this is as much as you're doing, and it's not on a ball peg either. So yeah, this is the only range it has really. For the shoulders, they do, you know, the arms do go back and forth. We do get a hinge to the shoulder. This is already coming in contact with the torso, so you get that much range. There is a bicep swivel. We are single jointed with the elbows right there. So it seems like it has the same range as the 4-inch figure. But this time we do have a hinge with the fingers right here. Nothing going on with the torso though. There's like a slight little movement here, but no like waist cut or anything like that. And then for the hips, the legs can pretty much go, well, it's pretty, it's just, it can go all the way around, but the arms will be in the way. So the legs are really good. And then we're also single jointed with the knees. And moving the arm out the way, you get that much range right there. They also go out to the side just a little bit, as it is on a hinge. So they go out to the side about there. And there is a rotation to the lower leg. And then for the ankles, they're on a hinge. Not a lot of movement that you'll get compared to the 4-inch figure. Yeah, just, you know, it just goes far back about there. Or actually, wait, does it go far more than that? Okay, I think that's the max it goes. So not bad, definitely not bad at all. And then far forward, you know, you're already seeing right there, and there's not really like a rotation there. So yeah, that's the articulation right there. So yeah, it definitely has more articulation, but it's gonna have limitations, of course. Comparing it to like the 4-inch figure right here, remember this one was like on a ball peg, so you're able to have it look, you know, up or, you know, down really. And you also have more range like with the ankles, because they could go that far back really. Now for comparison, here it is next to the classic Sonic figure from their collector's line, and this is actually a pretty good scaling. Like, it's a lot larger than classic Sonic, as it should be, but I don't know exactly how big it would be, but I mean, it is taller than the classic Sonic figure, so this is nice. At least it's not as small or like the same height. So here it is next to the Death Egg robot. So it's not as tall as the Death Egg robot. The Death Egg still is a lot larger, but not by a whole lot. Like, you can still see like it's not like too far off, but that should give you an idea of like where it would scale if you wanted to put it next to the Death Egg robot. Alright, so that is going to wrap it up here on the Jakks specific Giant Mecha Sonic vs Sonic playset. So if you guys want to pick this up, this is currently available at Target, but let me know what are your thoughts on this in the comments down below. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review. Until then, take care, my friends.
Story Select.